Let's get straight into this because there's plenty going on around the country. Now, the splash on the Oz, Keating's blast on China policy, of course, this comes off the back of the Australian Strategic Forum today. Paul Keating has criticised Canberra's handling of the China relationship, warning that the nation's foreign policy lacks any strategic reality and leaves Australia vulnerable in the Asia-Pacific as Donald Trump's America retreats. In a keynote address to the Australian Strategic Forum in Sydney on Monday, the former Prime Minister called on foreign policymakers to focus on helping define a new construct that engages with China but prevents it from dominating the region. Dan, your thoughts on the former Prime Minister's comments today?
Well, he was once known, like going in the 1996 election, as the big picture man. He's always been very seen Australia's future within the Asia Pac. But, you know, I think this really comes across where we've seen increased reporting around, you know, like China's influence in the Pacific. That's becoming more of a prevalent issue. On the economic ties, you've got 40% of exports in this country alone go to China. That dependency is there from an economic relationship. And so those things are obviously influencing a lot of Paul Keating's comments. But there is also the flip side of that. Now, Andrew Hastings and James Patterson are the two Liberals in the proverbial crosshairs, if you like, of Chinese authorities. But the reality is, you know, like, we're a democracy, they are anything but. And like, in some of the behaviour is just inconsistent with our values. So we need to ensure that we do have a dialogue where we can talk about these things.
Damien, I understand Paul Keating's thrust here, where he's coming from, and it's obviously important that we engage with these guys, but it all seems to be one-way traffic when it comes to the China-Australia relationship, and that is basically pushed from Beijing. I'm also really concerned about the encroachment into the South Pacific. The way in which the Chinese have very nakedly and overtly push their way into those South Pacific nations, to me, is a geopolitical wake-up call for this country.
Absolutely, and, you know, Paul Keating's more qualified than most to make comments such as he has today, and, you know, it certainly is testament to the firepower that this strategic forum that the Aussies put on is gathering. But look, you know, I don't know if he's completely correct about the so-called hysteria about China. I think we've all been watching with growing alarm about its progress in this march through the South Pacific, as you mentioned, as well as the tensions with America and the trade wars and their effect on Australia. So, look, Keating's definitely got some worthy comments to make, and certainly as part of a broader discussion, it's great. But yeah, I'm just not sure whether it's, you know, a little bit of political flavour to his comments as well.